Welcome back to PPCM's Painful Truth. Today's guest, Nicole Owen.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for today in giving me your time and educating me on your peripartum cardiomyopathy experiences. I first want to, with my whole heart, give my deepest condolences to your baby that was highly affected from this disease that is preventable. Can you please introduce yourself and let us know where you're from and how old were you when you were first diagnosed with your first PPCM baby, and how old were you when you were diagnosed later with your second PPCM baby?
I'm Nikki Wilson. I'm from Kentucky, a small town, Madisonville. My first time I was diagnosed with PPCM, I was 22 weeks pregnant and I was 26 years old. Then my second time, I was fully recovered, normal injection fraction, and doing great. And in my 26th week, I again went into heart failure at 36 years old.
And with baby Peyton,
Yes.
So with her pregnancy, tell me everything that you were feeling. Like, what was happening with you during when you were saying, at that time when you started to feel like this is not right, something's not right with my body. And what were the feelings up to giving birth?
Well, I'd been very sick. I had hypermemesis, and so I had morning sickness all the time. And so they were watching that. And then I just got to where I couldn't hardly take it. And it was early on, say 20 weeks. And I hadn't gained any weight. I was, losing weight. And I couldn't catch a breath, just walking like a normal walk. And before, I was used to getting up and doing aerobic exercise, cardio and strength training. I coached cheerleading then. And so it was just really strange. And I kept telling my doctor, there's something just not right. And they were like, oh, it's normal pregnancy. The baby's just growing. I never had any swelling in my feet, my hands, or anywhere. And then the morning that I woke up, and I'll never forget, July 25th, 2008, I woke up and I felt really congested. Like I could not just catch a breath. Mm-hmm. And I went to an urgent care. They decided to do an x-ray because he thought that I had maybe, this was just a general medical doctor, thought I maybe had pneumonia. Sent me down for an x-ray, and I got back up and he was like, you've got to get to the emergency room. Your lungs are full of fluid. And I had gained 16 pounds from Monday to, I think it was a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the ER. They came in and a bunch of doctors started doing tests and everything. And the next thing I know, I crashed. I'm not sure exactly how long I was out of it, but then I know I was being life flighted, and it was all just really, really, really scary. And my mom and my dad were both crying. I had no idea what was going on. And then while I was in the helicopter being transferred to Nashville to Centennial Heart, I flatlined again. So then this is what I was told, put in their CCU unit on a ventilator. Mm-hmm. And monitored. I was out of it for probably 2 days. I think it was about 48 hours. And then I finally came to, and was told, they really wanted to terminate the pregnancy, that I wasn't going to make it, or the baby wasn't going to make it, that they just didn't see you know, any hope in it. And I refused. I was going to carry the baby. And so they kept me in the hospital. Then I was there from July 25th till September 17th.
Mm-hmm.
I again started to go into cardiac arrest, and so they did an emergency C-section and took Peyton. Well, since I had went into heart failure at 22 weeks, she had stopped growing. So she was born at 1 pound and 4 ounces, 12 inches long, and her lungs did not get a chance to develop. So her life, the year we had her, was spent in the NICU at Vanderbilt. She was on a ventilator. We had tons of surgeries. It was just very, very difficult time in my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it without the wonderful nurses at Vanderbilt and the Ronald McDonald House in Nashville. They were wonderful resources, but it's nothing that someone should have to go through, living away from your family for a year.
Yeah.
And just staying every day in the NICU with your baby.
I am so sorry. Yeah, that's
She was
heavy onto.
Yeah, we were getting ready to come home on her birthday, August 17th, and she passed away 13 minutes before midnight on her birthday.
Yeah, we're going to feature. I saw the date. It was she was born on August 12th.
August the 17th.
August 17th, 2008.
And she passed August 16th.
And now with what we know about this disease and the prevention, do you feel that if you were provided the NT-proBNP test during pregnancy, that she would still be here today?
Definitely. I definitely wholeheartedly feel like she would be here with us today, and she would not have had to go on the vent. She would not had to have suffered the way she did.
Right.
Because my second pregnancy was so much different. It was still very, very scary.
Right.
I was hospitalized for 3 months.
Right.
On the cardiac floor, and it was not easy. I did crash a couple of times, but I was on the right medications this time, but this time could have been prevented also.
Yes. And what I feel is the awareness that's we're spreading is that this simple blood test that cost $15 out of pocket, that insurance does cover. We have all these other, so many blood panels. It's like, why not include this one NT-proBNP test? Because it can also, it could save mommy, it can save babies. And my heart goes out to you, because here you're recovering from this diagnosis and the trauma that you had to live with, because you were never diagnosed, so therefore you were never treated until at a life threat. And so I very much can relate in a sense where my life was at a threat, but the fact that your baby, is now, has, angel wings and is your angel, and pushing you to spread the awareness that, I believe that, energy and soul, baby, elderly, we all we all exist, like we just transform our energy. Energy never dies. So she's, I do really feel that, she's guiding you through this recovery process and, being there with her sister, at those times. And so you had your second pregnancy. How did that go? And how did the doctors, now that they had awareness with you, with peripartum cardiomyopathy, with your history of experience with Peyton, how was the second pregnancy compared to the first pregnancy, and why that you feel that the BNP test maybe would have saved her life?
They did not take me seriously on this pregnancy either, even with my past heart failure. I started about...
I'm sorry, the same doctors?
No, I had a different...
of course,
OB.
because they didn't have the awareness the first time. So why would you go back to them? Right. Oh, gosh. Right. Okay.
So I had a different OB.
Sorry.
And I had of course, a high-risk team that was supposed to be completely familiar with my history, evidently was not. And then I had a cardiologist that was, per se, he said that he had a patient that had peripartum before, but he did not show that he had any awareness of it, because I would tell him that I had shortness of breath. My resting, when I was sitting at my desk, because I was still teaching, I'd be sitting at my desk and my heart rate would be 150. Mm-hmm. And I was like, something's not right. And they were like, well, this is normal pregnancy. You've never been this far along. And I was like, I can't walk down the hall and breathe. This is not right. I can't lay down flat. I can't sleep. This is not how it's supposed to be. So they would do a urine test, and they were like, oh, that's fine. You don't have preeclampsia. And I was like, that's not what I'm worried about. Never did they do the BNP until I got to Nashville. They put the Zio, the monitor that you wear for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. The cardiologist put that on me, and I wore that. That was actually 3 weeks before I went into heart failure again, where I was diagnosed. But that also was me going to the emergency room and having to be life flighted again. And while I was in the intensive care, I had my mom to check my chart, like the My Chart, where you can see your results.
Yeah, I have my chart.
He had never contacted me about the results from the heart monitor, which showed that I was having
current
heart failure indications.
Wow.
So I was never made aware. It was until I completely hit rock bottom.
Right.
And got to Nashville that anything was done.
It's mind-blowing that we're sitting here talking about this in gynecology and about babies and lives and mommies that just gave birth. And I've been doing a lot of research about the NT-proBNP test and how long they have known this and why it hasn't been provided to women at all, as mandatory. So here I have because I've been having these amazing conversations with veterinarians. Okay. Better conversations with veterinarians than in the medical field with gynecology. Everyone in gynecology, forget about it. Birth keepers, it's hard. It's rare for them to want to be educated and informed and look at informative information as not fearful, but as life-saving. But with veterinarians, they already have 4 I don't know if you can see this. Hold on a second. Can you see it? Let me blow it up. Oh, God. Daddy, help me. Let me get my husband. Hold on. Can you show this on the screen? Can you show this to her? And I'm going to send it to you as well.
Okay.
Put it right here. Hold it. Hold on. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to mail it to you.
Okay.
Hold on. I'll edit this and shorten it. Is it because it's white? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's just white.
Hold on. Hold on, a little back, further back.
It focuses. It just has to. It's on face, so.
I'll edit this. I can't see it.
No, you must.
No, I can't make it out.
Oh, sorry. Here, I'll sit back.
No, just stay still.
Okay, I'll stay still.
I'm trying to cover your face with the phone.
Okay, cover the face with the phone.
No. What am I supposed to be doing?
Okay, showing NT Pro Feline. There you go. Feline Snap Test. Feline Pro BNP Test. They have a self test for the BNP for cats called Snap Test BNP. They also have it for dogs. So they have a whole it's called I want to spell it first. It's IDEXX, IDEX.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a pregnancy test. It's like that, and you're waiting to see the blood snap, and it says BNP with a little circle, and it tells you quickly assesses cats with cardiac risk heart failures.
Oh my goodness.
Breed history, arrhythmia, any cats, respiratory signs, which my cat has. So NT Pro, BNP. Hold on one second. And so this is what I'm saying. How come they have it for cats and dogs, but they don't have it for babies and mothers? Apparently healthy cats consider at risk for cardiac disease, murmur, breed history, any cats with respiratory sign to help rule out cardiac causes, and adult cats prior to, a life threat. Recommended follow-up diagnosis with confidence by measuring the most stable cardiac biomarker NT Pro BNP Snap Test that can provide reference liability quality technology for superior diagnosis accuracy at the point of care for your feline. This also applies with dogs. Automatically active Snap Test can save time and improve workflow, and Snap Test Pro Analyzer. Early diagnosis saves lives for cats.
That's unbelievable.
I'm going to get your phone out right now, and I want to see your face because I am going to send this to you right now. Now, you lost your baby. You've been through hell and back like I went through. And they have a whole system for feline cats and dogs of the NT Pro BNP test. And we're sitting here screaming bloody murder, getting diagnosed at a life threat when we can't breathe.
Yes.
Look at it. Go look at it. I just sent it to you. Oh, you can't. You're on your phone. Never mind.
Yeah,
You'll see it.
This is so crazy because if they would have done that simple test, that could have prevented me from being away from my bonus boys. Because I have 2 bonus boys that live with us. Being away from them and my husband for 3 months. My mom she's a personal setter, like does home health. she wasn't able to work for the 3 months because she stayed up there with me at the hospital to make sure that I got the right care. That's unbelievable.
And that's why we're having these conversations.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Why
is it that an animal, a cat, and an animal is more important than your life and your baby's life? How does that make any sense? I mean, are we calling, the duck a duck? If it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck? I mean, and I'm really sorry, but the American Heart Association has known this for decades, and they're now admitting that. So why hasn't there been any change in decades? Why is there zero change? I don't understand this. And I know that people are probably going to be, saying how they feel about what I say about the big associations that have withheld this information from women and babies and families and husbands who have watched their families suffer and had to be mommy while mommy was in a coma, like me. And why? What, people are not going to be like, they're not happy, but I mean, nobody's saying anything. Nobody's speaking up, because I had my times of death called. I'm a healthy girl. I've been a healthy girl my whole life, but that health has nothing to do with a pregnancy-induced complication never being diagnosed or treated. And we have zero diagnosis in gynecology. And that is why we have baby loss. That is why we have the highest maternal mortality in one of the highest, richest countries in the world. I mean, when I saw that and I thought, I was trying my hardest in every which way to slice it in a sense where what is the reason behind this? Why won't there be real support? Why, when people are informed, they feel fearful and not educated? Why is it this not applied during the policy and practice in medicine once having the awareness? If cats and dogs have a BNP test at home, I wonder if, for felines, we can take that same test. I wonder if it would determine a person. Why not? Or make it just like how it's made for a feline, but for a woman. What is...
And I don't understand what's so hard about that. I mean, it's a simple test.
It's not. It's a simple blood test. It's $15. I mean, girls don't know to ask for it. We're young. You didn't know to ask for it. They don't give it. It's not mandatory. Because it's going to save lives. And in return, they would make so much more money if they made it mandatory. They would make so much more money because there would be so many more testings that would need. They would have to do their follow-ups on EKGs. They would have to do this. They would make more money by mandating this blood test for all pregnancies, all humans, all babies, dogs, cats. If it would be wonderful, because then maybe we would die by an accident, not by something that could be prevented.
Right.
I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to you and your family, and I know that there's just endless, just injustice.
Yes. I mean, I haven't been able to return back to teaching.
Right.
It was a blessing that I've gotten to stay home with my little girl. She's 4, but I love teaching, and I taught special needs that have the learning disabilities. They're just the ADHD, the SLD children, the emotional behavioral children. That was my, that's my passion to help those kids. And I haven't been able to do that. It took away, my career, because even once I'm recovered, my doctor said that he doesn't know as stressful of a job that is if I can go back to it. So, I mean, it's taken a lot from me, and it could have been prevented if people would just get educated.
And that's what's so heartbreaking is that, and my cardiologist, Dr. Carol Watson at UCLA at the Women's Heart Center, and she's the director of the Barbara Streisand's Women's Heart Association Program Fund. And she literally says to me every time when I send her a link that just recently, that woman that said she's 35 years old, had cardiac arrest, now is on a heart transplant. And the one thing, whenever I show her different stories, she always says it's heartbreaking because it's so preventable. And when she says that, her talents and wisdom and, the willingness to learn and listen, and have her support in the medical community as a cardiologist to say that, and to say there is, 100% preventions, and that it's heartbreaking. And she hears heartbreaking. And it's so heartbreaking that this was just 2 days ago that I posted that with the woman who is suffering and now on a heart transplant, that PPCM is responsible for heart transplants in the US that are women that are very young. And to find out,
I was on that list.
Yeah.
I was on that list, and it was very scary just to think that I was not,
going to get a heart,
going to be able to go back to just being me,
being normal. I know, but we can't. That's in the past. I mean, we will never be the same. I know. I always say, what's normal? How do you go from normal after this? Like, a lot of people say that, it's very, it's this disease just literally like strips away joy, which should be joyful. And that's why, I call this the painful truth, because it truly is. It's painful because it's physical pain, it's mental pain, and the fact that it's preventable pain, it's the grieving, it's the anger, it's the never-ending justice, it's the questions that we want to know. And as women, since the beginning of time, that have been giving birth, and now that it's 2022 and women are still dying with zero change, when felines have the NT-proBNP test at home that you can order online for dogs, but we don't even have the awareness in gynecology for this test that should be already mandatory, like decades ago when they were all aware of it. Obviously they have awareness because they have a whole freaking kit, an instrument, diagnosis. It's really truly amazing that social media allows us to be able to talk about this for women and for our grandchildren, that our children are going to, you know, provide hopefully us someday that we will, you know, live to see. And we will be part of changing history for all women and babies. And your baby most definitely had a purpose on this life. Unfortunately, it was gone too soon. But her purpose was that the NT-proBNP test, as well as raising the screening labs and testings for, you know, the woman, the mommy, keeping mommy healthy, keeping baby healthy, that there can be wellness prevention during pregnancy-induced complications with raising the standards, screening labs and testings of seeing the heart through a chest x-ray, knowing your EF percent, knowing your NT-proBNP test, doing all these follow-ups throughout your pregnancy and throughout the visits after giving birth, because everything peaked after. Women don't get diagnosed until after. They're getting diagnosed in the ER, being flown by a helicopter, you know, by the paramedics, like when it's determined as early as 10 weeks pregnant with an NT-proBNP test. So I feel that with this interview, I feel like this has layers of, you know, life-saving information that we haven't even like touched upon. I mean, we can probably go on talking about this for hours.
Yes, definitely.
So why don't you introduce your second baby, and how old is she today, and how is she doing today? What is her feelings about this disease? Is she aware? I know she's young. How is this changing the dynamic of awareness in the house?
Hi. Can you say hi?
She would say hi. Hi, sweetie. Hi.
You tell them how old you are?
I was Piero when I was 4.
And you're 4. Well, you are just the cutest little girl. I love seeing your precious photos on Facebook. You are so stylish with your outfits. I love it.
I gotta get down my one.
Yeah. And you got a little panda bear on you.
Yeah.
You a
And
little
we didn't
panda
have
bear.
school today, so we had PJ day.
I love that.
Can you tell her that you're a heart baby?
I'm a hot baby, and my mommy is a kid. I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
Oh, and guess what? I have a heart baby too. And I'm a heart mommy, just like your mommy. We're warriors. We're strong women warriors.
And I'm a hot baby.
Yeah, you are. You're a heart baby, my love.
I'm mommy little.
Yes, you are.
I know, boo boo.
I like playing stuff like hiding teeth and like cups and robbers.
Cops and robbers. Do you know what? Do you know who
What?
would love to play with you? Hide and
Who?
seek?
Who?
My heart baby, Liam. Do you want to see what he looks like?
Yeah.
Have you shown her Liam?
Yes, we've seen pictures of him. And he's
You
dressed up in a
have seen
superhero
pictures of
costume.
Liam?
Yeah, and I was I had my first Boyaroo party and my Boyaroo party. I will have my Boyaroo party to a Toy Story. And
Let's
I
see.
was at a park.
Can you see Liam? Yeah.
Oh,
See? Would you like to play with him
yeah.
and meet him someday? You,
I have mommy can come there like me and him to have a play date.
Yeah, she's
Oh.
already asked earlier today if they could have a play date.
Absolutely. I think we're going to have to probably make that happen someday. We would love a play date. Oh my goodness. How
and like
fun.
you and mommy talk together, and you guys can like talk to each other, and me and Jim can play.
Absolutely.
That sounds wonderful.
That sounds like a great idea. That's a good plan. Let's plan that someday.
And I have little panda bells on my panda, and they're holding and they're like walking a flower.
And they're pretty pink.
Uh-huh.
I love pink. Do you
Showing
love
your
pink?
nails?
You have your nails painted. I was going to get mine done today. I love them. They're beautiful.
My mommy painted my nails to color.
Well, I think they look fabulous. They look absolutely gorgeous, my love.
Me too. And look at my wagon over here.
We're not going to put on all your toys right now, okay?
But I want you to get my wagon.
You want to go playing Barbies, and I'll be in there in a minute?
But I haven't been playing with Bobby. I've been watching movies.
Okay.
I'm like kind of like I can't like why playing it.
Now go watch Bluey, and I'll be in there in just a minute,
Can I
okay?
have my hot dog in there?
Madeline, please.
Can I have my hot dog in there?
Yeah, you can take those in there.
Cute. I finally got to meet her.
He's busy.
Good. Busy's good. So, is she aware, like, she's so young. Does she know what a heart baby? Does she know that your heart stopped?
Yeah, she knows that mommy was sick in the hospital. And when she was, I guess, 3,
Mhm.
sometimes she would want to run and do stuff, and I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And she'd say, Mommy, it's okay. I know your heart's still sick. And it would break my heart because she's aware of it. You know, she knows that mommy can't run as much as, and she knows that mommy gets tired easier. And it's horrible for your 4-year-old have to be understanding that.
Yeah, Liam at 5, I would say more often than not talks about how he doesn't want to die, or that what heaven looks like.
Right.
Or one time he was crying, and my mom passed away right after my heart procedure. And 4 months after, and then my father passed away 18 months later. But they were so in love. As teenagers, it's only natural that they stay. That they're together. Stress kills. So I blame it all on PPCM. But when they passed, he kept saying, when are they going to come back to life? When do you come back here? Like he's trying to understand what death is. And I'm trying to say there is no such thing as like death, because we're made up of energy. People can feel each other from across the world, that's energy, we're all connected, and that's why we get signs from the other side, because the veil is thinner than we believe. And so, I feel that when a child is constantly talking about, are you going to die? I want to know that it's too young. And like even John, my husband, he said the other day, he said, Liam, you don't have to think about that for a very long time. You're going to live a very long life. But, he asks what happens when you die. I said, your heart stops. We have symptoms and diseases, but ultimately in the end, we die because our heart stops. So that's my answer. Once your heart stops, that's it. You're done. You know, you don't, you're no longer at this life, but you go to the new chapter of life, and then you go to the other side. And then from there, you know, they are energy like angels that send you blessings and send you miracles and guide you through life, that, you know, things that you wouldn't, you know, necessarily be able to accomplish. They can move us like chess pieces, you know, and connect people, to help people with other things, you know, like people serve their purpose with some people, you know, they come in your life, they go out of your life, you know, they were meant to be there at that time, you know, like we shift just like energy and transform. And so I'm really trying to educate him that, and I will have this book that I, you know, been writing to come out, that, because I too, my education was on, my background was K through 6 education, teaching. I always, you know, cater to the ones that did have learning disabilities. I would focus mainly on their strengths, not their weaknesses, because your strengths will always excel and your weakness will always be a weakness. And, you know, I'd say to the little, you know, boy or girl, I said, you know, okay, so you got a D+, but let's find where you get an A+, because that's where they're going to do great in life, you know? And so we, you know, what I realized is that, women coming together, you know, on behalf of, like, you know, this disease, I realized that there's a lot of children that are involved, and those children are going to grow up to little young ladies or young men, and they're, you know, and so I have something, you know, very specific, like, you know, dedicated to them, about the questions that, and, you know, in a child written, you know, pop-up actually will be probably, you know, to just talk about this, but to have comfort and peace that the struggle is here. You know, the struggle is only of loss and grief and the physical life here. And so there's a confusion, I think, what happens. And I feel like there needs to be more conversations about that with children, because they are little sponges. They are aware, you know, what we don't see, they do. So I think that monkey see, monkey do. We want to guide them not to have fear, you know, but to be fearless and to be, you know, strong, and to live life to its fullest, and not try to strengthen the weaknesses, but don't focus on them, because there'll always be a weakness. So if we focus on life, on things that, you know, we're good at and we're happy, I always say that that's kind of like a good start with, at a young age with a PPCM baby, is, you know, talk about those hard things that we don't want to talk about at a young age because they're so young. But if they're talking about it and they're asking about it, we shouldn't blow it off. It should be a hot topic, I feel like. Not all the time, but something where they should feel comfortable to talk about. And you know, go to spirituality and religion and you know, find, you know, their love, you know, for God and for their self-worth, and to understand that there's two sides. There's our side, and then there's the other side, but they still both exist. It's just energy shift transformation. That's why we still get the signs. And you know that with me. I get my mom shows off sometimes to me. She lost her power. Do you know that it stopped? And I'm going to show you. No, it stopped at 11:11 when it hung up. When it hung up, I'm recording it right now. It just went to 11:02. But when it hung up, it was literally at 011111. And I was like, I looked at it, I was like, what? Crazy, right?
Yes.
Energy. I'm like tripping.
Wow.
I just videoed. I'm going to send it to you. I mean, the number kept going and going and going. So I caught it a little after, and it took me a minute to be like, what the? But it literally somehow our frequency just went off at 01111111. There we go. That's your angel.
Just more proof.
More proof. That was so not planned. That just happened. I mean, literally. Because I said, you know about the 111. I said that, and then you get disconnected, and it literally was right there. Hi. You know, it really is. I mean, there are things that we can believe of you know, things that we can't see or touch, you know? Like I always called the angels on the other side. They're just like, you know, they're like stars that we can't see. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that was a sign. That was an existing sign, you know, energy, numbers, songs. You know, you think of a person, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, they contact you out of like the blue, and it's been like years, you know, it's like laws of the attraction, you know, The Secret, you know, the universe is big. We're just little specks in it.
Exactly.
So amazing. You know, we can't, some people believe that they are the universe and that we're not little specks, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, that's not the case. But so how is your husband? Is this now you're off again?
I don't know why.
It's your service. It's okay. We can just keep going. It's radio. I wanted to ask about your husband. Your husband had to watch 2 pregnancies.
Well, no, actually, the first pregnancy was with a different partner.
Okay.
And I wasn't married then. My husband now, I married in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was still being told that I would not be able to carry a baby, that it would not be possible. I was still recovering, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to find a doctor that says I can do this. I'm healthy enough. I was coaching cheerleading. I was teaching. I was doing everything to get my body healthy as I could. And then I met Shannon, and we got married, and we discussed it. He had 2 boys at the time. And I was like, you know, you have 2 boys that are 8 and 15. Are you sure you want to, you know, start all over again? Because I do want to have a baby, and it may not go as planned. And I made him totally aware from the beginning of what had happened in the past. And he was very supportive. He he has a very close relationship with God. He's very spiritual. He told me that God will not give us more than we can handle, and we will get through it no matter what. And then we were married for almost 2 years, and I finally got pregnant. And I'm sure he was scared. But he had a brave face most days.
Mm-hmm.
But he always had a positive attitude that Adeline was going to be perfect, that no matter what, she was going to come and she was going to be fine, that she was our rainbow baby and she was just going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So he, I think being away from me and only getting to come and visit on the weekends was really hard on him, and it was hard on the boys very much.
Yeah.
And then for almost the first year, I lived at my mom's because my house here has a very steep staircase, and all the bedrooms and full baths are upstairs. And for the first year, I was still very, very sick. My ejection fraction didn't get above 20%.
Oh, wow.
So I lived with my parents, which is only 2 houses down.
Mm-hmm.
But still living apart from your husband and your husband not being with your baby, it's a weird, situation. And I'm sure a lot of people thought that it was strange, but we had to do what was best for me and for Adeline at the time.
Yeah, obviously it's whatever's easiest. Like my mom always said, it's whatever works for you, whatever works for this person. And, we have to adapt to health, when we're not well. Everything kind of goes out the window and you do what you got to do because, this is what is what, and you had to go above and beyond self-advocacy through this process. I'm sure mentally, try to, our group site that we have, it's informative. I believe that's where we met on the group site, and it's interesting to hear, like, how one has a support system, because I feel like that's like so important. And the fact that, you had that with, your husband, and he was so supportive throughout this, really helps, less worry, whereas it's in some cases, it's not. I was fortunate as well. John very much stepped up, and was, just, brave face on, but it's hard for them too. That's something to talk about, with how, our spouses deals with, coping through this and having, faith that, what's meant to be will be. And you are obviously meant to live and keep spreading the awareness so there can be an actual pregnancy movement. We're not there yet. We don't have a movement, but we're starting it, and we're doing it today. You and I, talking about this and about how you truly feel that this could have all been prevented if just there was more education, better training, better way of functioning within the system, so women don't have to have these, awful catastrophes happen in the family. In the background. She's so sweet. Is there anything that you would want to add with the information that can maybe help somebody else, or somebody in your area that might be, going through this right now, that you have been going through for the last, within the last decade?
Um, just listen to your body. The doctors are not always right. You know your body the best. And when you feel like something's not right, don't let them tell you it's just pregnancy. It's just part of it. Don't let them blow you off and make you feel like you don't know what's going on with your body.
Exactly.
Because I feel like so many of us survivors and warriors were told that.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear it from so many different women that they had concerns and the doctors just kind of blew them off until it was too late. We need to demand better care, more awareness for the doctors that are treating us. We need to find a way to make the pro BNP test mandatory. It was so disappointing because even when I was on the high risk floor at the hospital, the nurses and the doctors there did not have any, awareness of PPCM. They were scared to deal with me because of my heart. So they wanted me transferred back to the cardiac floor.
Right.
Even
They
the
didn't
small week
want
that
you to
I
be a
was doing
liability.
okay.
What hospital literally dismissed you because they thought you were a liability? What hospital was that?
The one in Madisonville, Baptist Health.
Baptist Health in Madisonville, Kentucky.
Yes.
So they basically, once again, did not want to. They didn't want to treat you because you were a liability to their hospital, so they wanted you out.
Yeah. As both times that I went into heart failure, they could not get me out of there fast enough. Thank goodness that I have a wonderful doctor, Dr. McCrae, in Nashville at Centennial Heart. He has saved me twice. And he is the most loving, gentle, understanding cardiologist. I can call him or his nurses or his nurse practitioner anytime I feel like something different's going on with my body, and they are there.
They advocate
and
for
they
you.
are, they're concerned, and they take every symptom or feeling that I'm having serious.
Yes. Well, I guess now, knowing that it really does depend on a caring doctor, a team that is also willing to know that this is something that is going to not only save lives, but it's going to change. And there will always be updates with our study on this, because this is even this is new information, with women talking about this, survivors educating the medical community, survivors educating the person that's standing next to them wherever they are in the world, in their orbit. And it's not being educated by anyone else, not an association, not a big association. It's not being educated. It's not being talked about the way it should be. It's not being trained, and it's not mandatory. So it's one of these conversations that we're having that should be an ancient conversation, since women have been giving birth since the beginning of time. I say it in every interview. But we are having this for the first time. We are trying to create this pregnancy movement. I believe it is already in development. I believe that we have taken the steps as survivors to do our responsibility to change history for all women and women's pregnancy health regarding, this pregnancy disease that actually affects the heart. So if women don't understand and girls don't understand, and women, is that it it's fluid that crushes your heart. The heart is affected by this disease. So you don't have a heart problem prior. We're healthy. We didn't have a heart problem. We had an infection that was left untreated and fluid, and we had symptoms, and it was more, for me, I don't know for you. I mean, it was more painful to be made feel like I was completely normal when I was in fact completely dying. Like, I think that was more painful because I felt like I wasn't being heard or believed. My three most powerful words I always say to my son is, I believe you.
Yes.
And I say it all the time. And he recognizes that. He says, but mommy, you believe me. I said, I do believe you. So he tells me everything because it's the three most powerful words that I think even adults should hear when a woman is saying something that happened to her, and to not be heard is hurtful and it's painful. You know, my doctors don't realize how much emotionally they hurt me by making me feel like this was my fault. I got the bad luck of the draw. No, this is extremely common. It's just rare for diagnosis. And the only bad luck of the draw is that I didn't have an entire hospital with medical professionals that I saw over and over and over and over and over again that had absolutely zero awareness of the NT-proBNP test and peripartum cardiomyopathy, PPCM awareness, and the preventions for maternal mortality during pregnancy. Or this woman, Leah, that just died at Cedars-Sinai, November 21st, this 2021, this past November. She died after childbirth at Cedars-Sinai. They should have learned from my experience when I went back to them. And that's when I feel like, where's the justice? Where's the respect for women, especially women who survive cardiac death and comes back and say, hey, what the heck? You know I'm healthy. Been 105 pounds my whole life, dancer, yoga, to giving birth and still swelling tremendously after, to almost being 200 pounds, over 50 pounds of fluid removed. They said I had a nutritionist problem. I didn't have a nutritionist problem. Never had. I had a swelling pregnancy-induced heart failure problem that they were unaware of. My bad luck of the draw is that my OBGYNs had zero awareness, and that was the only bad luck of the draw that I had because PPCM is so common. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. So anyway, we're going to edit this anyway, so it doesn't matter. It'll be fine. It's the snow. They're having bad weather. How's your weather?
Well, last night or yesterday, it rained and flooded, and they released school early. And then today, or last night, it snowed a little bit. And then today it's just freezing outside and very, very windy.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty cold here too. We've had the oddest weather. We had hail and, when stuff happens in California, because we don't ever really have weather change. For some reason, things just don't work. That's why the docuseries was uploaded on the 15th, not the 14th, because the entire community didn't have internet, speed.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So here we're trying to figure out what is going on here, and then it hailed the next, it was just weird weather in California. So, it's cold here, which is normally not this cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 90 degrees. Next day it was hailing and then raining, and then we had just the weirdest weather. So, and I think it was the full moon too. So
Yeah.
all our press say it came out on the 14th, but technically technology of the forces of nature did not allow us to upload until the 15th. So that's fine, whatever. I can hope. But no, I feel like, you know, with you and I today, what we've accomplished is that we are across literally the United States of America. We both have experienced an awful catastrophe, you know, from the medical community, with having zero respect with women that survive this. Because it's one thing when we are struggling and everything and we're sick and there's like no awareness, but when we're educating them and we survived and we're giving our time and we're informing them and we're educating them, it's heartbreaking that it's not applied. It's in out one ear and it's like, oh wow, that's bad. But then like nothing happens. Nothing's really.
That's so aggravating.
That's my biggest, you know, reason for doing this, and for for the passing of, you know, Leah. Her father is Robert, who's an actor in Hollywood. Same hospital, same doctors, but it's unfair because it's preventable. And I don't know what it's going to take for real change. I unless we show up and talk about these events that have led us to, you know, this, you know, awful, painful truth of our lives being completely stripped because there was lack of education. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, self-advocacy is one of the things that every survivor talks about once they, you know, I asked them the question that I asked you about, like, is there anything that you would want to say, and how, I mean, it's like across the board throughout the United States of America, throughout the world, throughout Canada, throughout, you know, England, Scotland, all the interviews that I've had throughout the world, it's across the board, self-advocacy, you know, and women, you know, have to self-advocate, you know, in 2022 when there's prevention and, you know, feline cats and dogs are provided this, but we're not, is really just takes it to a whole other heartbreak, because early diagnosis does save lives because it prevents the disease from actually getting bad and turning into a disease, and prevent, you know, the prevention, like for baby loss. And I just don't understand why, you know, birth keepers, medical communities, OBGYNs, gynecology, especially at Cedars-Sinai, you know, in Beverly Hills, why wouldn't they want to use me as a study and say, okay, I was wrong. Now let me ask you, what was going on when you were pregnant? What did you feel? What was happening with you? I really want to understand what did I miss, because I'm a doctor and I want this to never happen to another one of my patients. I was expecting those conversations, not the conversations that was like making me feel like, you know, oh, this is just rare. You got the bad luck of the draw, and yeah, sucks for you. No, it was sucked for me that I had your team as my medical professionals during a preventable, as 10 weeks pregnant, once I started getting signs that you should have known that this was a pregnancy-induced complication. The only test that would determine early diagnosis is the NT-proBNP test that we have that's available in the United States of America. They have other tests that are available, but they're not available in the United States of America. there's kits and instruments, but they're not involved. They're not here. We do not have access to them. The hospitals do not have access to them. The ERs do not have access to them. Labor and delivery floors do not have access to them because they're not in the order panel in that blood company lab at that hospital. So because even if they wanted to give the blood test, they don't have it in their panel. So that's where the issue is with America is that they need to make it available so the blood labs, it can be ordered through the blood labs. And that would require an FDA approval. Yeah.
Like almost.
So it is what it is until
We just have to do what we can to change it.
until we make it apparent that no more women should ever have to suffer if it's medically proven.
Yeah.
So I guess on that note, I am going to let you go and have a very lovely day.
Thank you. You
I
too.
really enjoyed, talking with you in person. I always see you every day on Facebook, and it's really nice to hear your voice. And
I love seeing Liam's pictures. He's such a sweet boy.
He's a love dove. I love him. Turning him into a little ninja. He's saying he needs justice because I told you he had a bully.
Yeah.
And so there was no way of resolving it. Parents, they don't believe that that they are little specks in the universe. They believe that they are the universe. I realized that there was no way of them taking any responsibility. And even though I was neutral with them about Liam, and I told him that we promote kindness and compassion in our family, and he's never like this. And he says, "Mommy, I have my reasons," and it's sad when you can't rectify it. You just have to I just got Liam far away from them as possible, put him in a different school, and now he's a ninja every day. He goes to karate school. So I'm sure I'm going to be posting lots of karate stuff within the next few years as he hopefully becomes his little strong warrior. He says, "Mommy, I'm a strong warrior and I can do it." And I'm like, "Yes, you can." So hopefully if any little boy ever attacks him ever in his life, Liam will know how to defend, where that boy will never want to touch Liam again. He will know how to fight.
That's good.
Yeah. He will be a little protector. So if anybody ever hurts your little girl, you just let Liam know, and Liam will be right there.
Definitely.
Little hero. And she's a beautiful, beautiful, perfect little girl.
You.
And she's precious. And I love her swag and what she's got going on.
So much sass.
I know. What's that company called again? That fashion line? That boutique?
We do Rick Rack and Ruffles, and we're moving into Matilda Jane, but my friend's local boutique is Faith and Hope Boutique, and she actually has a website now. So she is amazing. That's where all her little character outfits with the bell bottoms come from, and her Johnny Cash outfits.
Oh my gosh. So it's faithandhope.com.
It's faithandhopefashions.com.
With an S.
It's just
Fashions.
Faith Hope. It's faithhopefashions.com.
faithhopefashions.com. I'll check it out.
Yeah, on my on my actual Facebook page, it's on there a lot because Adeline reps for them.
Okay.
She'll get on the website and she'll pick out stuff, and we'll FaceTime with Courtney, and she's like, "I want to do this outfit this month." So She's all about her fashion. She's got to have her bows. So
That's
she's,
adorable. Well, I look forward to seeing her on the red carpet someday.
oh yes. She'll be designing, hopefully.
designing, you know, beautiful outfits, or, you know, who knows, you know, we never know what these little guys are going to do. I can't wait to see them grow on, throughout our lives, and may we both live a very, very long life, and
Yes.
and change history for all women's health and wellness during pregnancies and for years
Yes.
after. So thank you so much, and
Thank you for all you do for us.
Yes, it is. You're so welcome. I mean, this is for everyone. This is not about me. This is about our young children. This is about our future. So, you know, they always say, why didn't someone do anything? And I kept saying it, why isn't someone doing anything? And then I just would go, well, I guess I'll be that somebody, you know, where I'll, you know, come out of my comfort zone. And, you know, I don't really have, I'm not like a, how do you say, like, I'm just getting into TikTok. I did my first TikTok the other day. I was like so happy, you know. I'm not really in front of the camera. I do things behind the camera. But this is definitely something that I am, you know, feeling that there needs to be a platform. There has to be voices that need to be heard, even if it's we're talking to ourselves, we're talking, you know.
Exactly.
And may somebody hear, and may somebody, you know, save another life just by hearing NT-proBNP test and say, oh, I remember I heard these girls talking about it, and, you know, they had a very tragic story, but, you know, they're spreading the awareness, you know. So I heard that, you know, and then they inquire. Next thing you know, maybe it might save their dog or their cat. Hopefully a family and a woman and a baby. But yeah, however they learn, may they all just learn and be educated. Yes. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon.
All right.
Give my love to your little one. Bye, babes. Right. Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye, my love.
Bye.
See you soon.
Thank you for joining us and listening to the PPCM Fund podcast. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. PPCM's Painful Truth is made possible through the generous support of donors like you. Help us spread the awareness by donating at ppcmfund.com or click the link below to become a member through Ko-fi. Have a great day.